and many of the families with the patients had different kinds of cancers, and there was a little cluster of lymphoma and leukemias in Incline Village, a cluster of ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, a motor neuron disease, and this chronic fatigue syndrome. And it looked like a virus, it smelled like a virus, a retrovirus, because those are the kinds of viruses that disrupt the immune system. And several other investigators back in the 90s had actually isolated retroviruses from these people, but the government called them contaminants, that they weren't real and that they didn't have anything to do with the disease. Well, we isolated a new family of viruses that were called xenotropic murine leukemia virus-related virus. So these viruses were murine leukemia viruses, mouse viruses. So these viruses were murine leukemia viruses, mouse viruses. And so spin forward 2 years, our paper published in one of the best scientific journals in the world in Science, October 8, 2009. Usually that makes one's career. In my case, it ended my life as a scientist as I knew it. Basically the realization, the big oh my God of all of those sequences we've seen and all of those proteins and all of these contaminants are causing disease. The fact that they were real was just too much. For 25 million Americans are infected with the viruses that came out of the lab, out of labs into humans via contaminated blood and vaccines. And that was so I was fired, jailed, without cause, without hearing, without any civil rights at all, just drug out of my house in shackles one day, November 18, 2011. I refused to denounce the data. I refused to say it was a mistake. We had the data, I showed the data, I showed all of the data, and I just refused. They basically said, tell everybody you made it all up and you can go home. And if you don't, we'll destroy you. And they did. I mean, economically as a profession, but they didn't because thank God for my faith and for my husband and for my family and for the patients. Because in order to steal one's passion, my passion wasn't money. Scientists don't make money. My passion was helping people, and the patients never walked away from me. The most likely way that these murine leukemia virus-related viruses, these types of viruses, entered humans was through vaccines. So when did we start vaccines? 1953, 1934, right in the 30s with the polio, and what we were doing to attenuate, to make the virus less pathogenic, less toxic, is we were passing them through mouse brains. So we were passing them through the brains of mice, and every scientist who works with these viruses and worked at the National Cancer Institute recognized the possibility that if you put human tissue and mouse tissue together, the possibility is that you're going to pick up a virus that is silent in the mouse. That is, it doesn't hurt the mouse, but it kills the human or causes serious disease in the human.